My sources tell me that the president's announcements will be big. Joining me right now is Senate Judiciary and Armed Services Committee member Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for being here this morning. And I know that you have legislation right now trying to keep China accountable. What would be the most important move that the president could make today in that news conference with regard to China and its efforts to overtake or overreach in Hong Kong?
One of the things that he needs to make a very clear point of is to reinforce what Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said about recognizing Hong Kong's sovereignty. That needs to be reinforced because China, mainland China, has tried to use Hong Kong as their bank, if you will. And Hong Kong had an agreement. China has pulled back on that agreement because what is China doing? In the face of COVID, in the face of a shrinking economy, they are trying to push forward in other areas to keep their Belt and Road Initiative alive, to keep their great power competition going with those islands in the South China Sea. And their economy is faltering somewhat. So now they're trying to exercise this overreach. Maria, we have to realize this is the Chinese Communist Party. They are after global domination. They have looked at this as a 100-year marathon. And if there be it, they're going to strike back twice as hard.
I mean, you know, you look at this regime, a communist party that is tracking its citizens, giving you a social score at the end of the year, saying, well, we don't like the fact that you smoke cigarettes, so you won't be able to get on a train. I mean, things like that. They've locked up Uyghurs, Muslims in camps, saying that you have to get educated on Chinese culture and not follow Muslim culture. You've got these broken promises across the board. But there was a reason that we put China in the WTO. We thought that they would change. And in fact, instead, it looks like they're having a power grab across the world. Are they using this COVID-19 disaster to overreach in Hong Kong, in India, in Taiwan, etc.?
Of course, they're using it to overreach. And that is why it is so important to continue to make this point. We know what they are doing. Now, one of the things we need to do is review the participation, pardon me, of China in all of these organizations, the WTO, the UN. Can you even believe they're asking for a seat on the Human Rights Council? Look at the WHO, because they helped cover for China. So there has to be this accountability there.
Yeah.
And they know they're faltering. They're trying to use this to push forward and to diminish us and to get back on track for their global domination. They're communists. And what we have to do
I want to move,
right, we have to return our supply line.
Finish.
To hold them accountable. We have to make certain that we eliminate these Confucius Institutes. We are now on what I call a Cold War footing with China. And you see it in the Uyghurs. That is similar to the gulags. You see it in what they are trying to do with pushing their soft power. Look at these Confucius Institutes. So all of these are steps they're taking. It is steps that we need to take to show them they are on a Cold War footing with us.
Well, you would think that the whole world would be with us on this issue, right? You would think that the world does not want a communist country running the world. And instead, you would want the U.S. to stop them. You think we have allies on our side on this, right? Real quick, because I want to get on to social media.
Yes, I do think we have allies with us on this. Countries that have been so impacted by COVID-19, yes, we have allies with us.
Right. Okay, real quick on social media, of course, President Trump is slamming Twitter again after signing that executive order yesterday, targeting social media companies. And overnight, another one of his tweets was flagged, Senator, saying that the president glorified violence. So as the head of the Senate Judiciary Committee's tech task force, what is your reaction here?
One of the things we knew, the president uses descriptive language. His point was he was going to stand with the governor and get the National Guard in there. And Maria, one of the things we need to continue to look at holistically and be concerned about is how social media writ large is trying to use censorship on the internet. I've been censored. I've recently had another censor that had come my way. We know that what we have to do is look at how social media subjectively manipulates these algorithms. And you and I have discussed this before.
Yeah.
When I asked Mark Zuckerberg about this in 2018, he ended up fumbling that question. He couldn't say if they did or did not. So it's important now to get to the bottom of it.
Why were you censored? Senator, why were you censored? I mean, look, the whole point of these companies having this liability protection was to suggest that they were neutral platforms. But they don't appear to be neutral because they keep censoring conservatives, and you never see any censoring of Democrats. Why were you censored? Real quick, we got to jump.
I was censored in a campaign ad, and recently a book my daughter and I are writing, and she was doing a boost, and she was blocked from doing that boost. And, you know, Maria, you look at this, it is always the conservatives. The bias is there. It is because of the way these reviewers subjectively manipulate that algorithm. This is not a new issue. In 2018, when I asked Zuckerberg about this, he fumbled that question and could not attest to the fairness of that platform.
All right, Senator, thanks very much for staying on this. We will check back soon. It is good to see you this morning. Thank you so much, Senator Marsha Blackburn.